welcome everyone to Thoughts on Education. Today we have from International School of Engineering, which is in Sophie, we have Mr. Somagiri Parupalli. Welcome, Soma sir. So, Mr. Parupalli is the Vice President at InSophie, and he has been associated with InSophie for the past 10 years. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you, Sahil.
To start with my first question, you have held key positions at education institutes throughout your professional career. So, what are the key factors that keep you connected with the education sector?
Well, I think one of the most important aspects that people do consider in the education space is trying to always be with the technology, trying to be with the trend, because a lot of times, quite a few skills that we're talking today in the digital world are not something that people used to have at a period of time. And as we see the kind of workforce that is evolving in the last few years, I think education really becomes very critical right from if you look at the overall higher education space, it becomes very critical to be able to keep up to the right pace at which the industry is expecting people to work on their innovations or research and product development and areas of that sort. So I think always trying to be at the pace of how industry is looking at and trying to be beyond those in terms of your ability to learn these new age skills, I think is the important factor that people need to have. So, and that's probably an area where quite a bit of education institutions these days have started to think on, especially in the Indian, ecosystem. But if you've seen how the global education space have evolved over a period of time, quite a few world-class universities have been contributing towards technology, research, innovation quite a bit for the last few decades now. And I think it's important the Indian institutions also take up that role in nurturing the right talent to be able to make people be ready not just for industry requirements, but try to build on cutting edge areas of technology. And that's, I believe, one of the core responsibilities in the education space. And I'm really happy that I've been associated with InSophie for the last 10 years now. And I think it's really a wonderful experience of being in education and trying to help a lot of graduates and working professionals uplift their career towards the new age technologies. And that's, I think, is the most exciting part.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So for the next question, being the Vice President of InSophie, what is your philosophy of leadership? Like, how would you describe your leadership style?
Well, I believe in three approaches, three E's, I would say. The first area is always try to empower teams of what they can and what they're supposed to do, because the more you try to empower individuals, they have the ability to take certain decisions which can enable their ability to creatively design certain initiatives and try to work with the right operational goals. So I think empowering resources to their responsibilities is one important aspect that I consider as the first E. And the second one, which is extremely crucial, is always to ensure people are engaged with their level of involvement towards their task. I mean, people are not given enough understanding of what they do. So engaging them at the grassroots level, talking to a lot of front-ending teams, being the person to do the task first than trying to just delegate that. So trying to engage with the customers, engage with the stakeholders, and try to work with these people whom they're working with, be it customers or clients or internal teams. Always trying to get engaged with people is the second aspect that I have to drive to. And the third important aspect is working with a lot of ethics, because ethics comes into picture. For a lot of businesses, you take a lot of brands which are long-term nature. You have to be very, very ethical in your thought process, ethical in your approach. So trying to be a lot more ethically driven, approaches, trying to be a lot more clear with your policies, guidelines, sticking to certain fundamentals is very important. So yes, being that place where you can empower people, engage them with what they can really get the right experience with that they're really looking at, and also trying to build ethical practices at the core is something that I strongly believe at the philosophical level. So at my teams, I strongly inculcate this ability to work with a lot of ethical behavior, try to be a lot more transparent, and trying to work towards better success factors toward the customers is something that I truly look up to, and that's what the philosophy that I am driving with.
Okay. So, being the vice president of Insofi, how do you strategize about the key programs and plans for the marketing and administration of your institute?
Yeah, so what is very important in the current digital age is there is enormous amount of noise, white noise, I would say, with respect to a lot of ads, a lot of content, a lot of knowledge available. But at the core, what really happens is we don't really cater to the right customer segment. So one thing that we are very, very keen and very sure about is trying to recommend the right program for the right student with the right backgrounds. And that's not something that people can do it easily. You need to understand what are customer preferences, what are the learning goals, what exactly are their career plans, what kind of global outlook do they have, what is the technical understanding. So actually looking at what kind of customers are really relevant for your programs in the academic fashion is very important. People may call it market segmentation, but a lot more than that is trying to have a much better eye towards what kind of customers do you want to cater, and do we really have that offering in nature. If you don't have a program that is not going to do justice or cater to a market segment, it is always better to not offer the program or force with that. So when we design a strategy, when we go back to the drawing room and look at how do we really strategize and build planning for different programs, we are very, very sure, and we have been very consistent in trying to only recruit the right students, give the admission to the right students whom we believe have the right eligibility, not just from the academic standpoint, but from the technical understanding and the ability to learn. And also we ensure that we have them meet their career goals. So what we do at Insofi is trying to work with different areas of medium. It could be social media or outreach activities, or it could be a lot of events that we conduct. But so it's important that we cater to the right people with the right program, and that's something that we have to be very clear on. And that's where we spend a lot of time looking at our content, our representation, our web pages, our ads, and the way of the collaterals are being designed. We are very, very specific about how we want our programs to talk to the right candidates by default. And that's where I think most of our time goes into it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So for the next question, the education systems in India and other foreign countries are structured very differently. So in your experience, what can an inbound student gain from studying here in your institute?
Hey, that's an excellent question, because at Insofi, one of the things that we've been able to always offer to the Indian students is the world-class experience. What it means is the ability to learn something that they can visualize, that they're building a product or trying to build a solution is the root cause. A lot of times people, when they learn certain algorithms or certain techniques, or maybe certain simple topics, they end up memorizing a few things and they end up doing that for the sake of exams. But one of the most important aspects that we look at is the applied engineering aspect, which a lot of people don't have it. So at Insofi, we have been very, very strongly committed towards giving that experience of applied nature. So people, when they try to build an algorithm, when they try to build a technique, they should be able to see how that is really going to change the end goal or what kind of product they're trying to work with. So the ability to bring that applied skill is something that we strongly look at as the important parameter when we try to inculcate that education. And this is something that we've seen very common in most of the universities, be it in the US or other places around the world. All the universities that you see have a very strong research, very strong innovation, and very strong creative ways of engaging students to do something more applied in that nature of area, the study that they choose or a field of study that they pick up. And that I believe is very important. So at INSOFI, that's exactly what we try to do. When we have collaborated with universities where they do one term in India and the remaining terms abroad in the respective universities, we try to teach them that very same experience of being a lot more applied in nature, understanding why you're trying to look at a algorithm, why you're trying to learn about a technique, what are you going to eventually solve when you learn something like that. And that is what we try to make them through their hands-on projects or hands-on sessions, or the ability to really build some cool prototypes as a part of the projects that they go through. So that applied engineering aspect is where I think enormous amount of work has always been done by global universities outside India. And I think we are also trying to replicate pretty similar experience to the Indian students. So they are going to work with professors, they are going to work on research areas, they have opportunities to work into entrepreneurship, they have opportunities to move into creating their own solutions that they can build as prototypes. So yes, definitely the kind of experience that people do get in SOFI is fairly applied in nature, and I think that's something that every student needs to have and needs to at least experience when they are moving into a global workforce environment.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, how does the curriculum of INSOFI ensure the best practice of industry?
See, when we designed the curriculum, initially we actually approached Carnegie University to audit our course or look at our curriculum and try to recommend if there were any areas. And they actually were very happy with the way we were able to build the curriculum, because we always were very, very close with how industry is looking at these areas in data science, especially in the applied fashion. But we also started looking at our recruiters' job descriptions. So what are the skills that they were looking at? What kind of additional skills were they keen on? What really adds to the employability for solving problems? It could be certain platforms, it could be some proprietary tools, it could be certain techniques, it could be some areas of research. So we have ensured we spoke to close to a few hundreds of companies. I would probably say 500 to 600 companies over the years, and we try to always collate. We, being a data science training institution, we are very, very keen on how we leverage the data that we work with. So we try to understand what are companies looking at, and we looked at different research companies and the requirements. We looked at different product companies, consulting companies, management consulting companies, analytical boutiques. So we've looked at different areas, and we also looked at how universities like Case Western, Carnegie Mellon, they actually look at their curriculum. So we try to blend a curriculum that is really on par with how a cutting-edge research university builds it up and how industries are looking at. We try to bring both of the worlds together and try to design a program. And that's exactly why when we design a program at INSOFI, it is clearly categorized that these are the programs where we're looking at data science for computer science graduate. These are programs for computer science and civil engineering graduates, data science plus mechanical engineering graduates, data science for managers, data science for professional education teams. So we are always consistently working towards stitching the curriculum together, where we're trying to meet both the ends of industry practices and cutting edge research. We're trying to build a curriculum which always is very close to these two areas, and that I believe has always been a very good success factor for students to get the right opportunities when they graduate from the institution.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, what do you think your roles and responsibilities to the institute and the students are?
Well, we have to be committed to what we are, working when we do justice to our roles. We are expected to really help students achieve their learning goals, which they are either clear of or maybe are unaware of. So the first area that I have to be fairly knowledgeable is about educating the graduates on what are the various opportunities they can really explore in the new age environment. With so much of digital disruptive technologies, are students really aware about the opportunities, or are they really not sure about certain areas that they could probably explore? And given the kind of nature at which we are currently working with different undergraduate colleges, we've seen enormous amount of students who don't have the right perception or perspective about these new age technologies. So one important area that we do is trying to educate a lot of graduates through a lot of free and applied courses that we conducted in Sophie. So promoting these to a lot of students at the grassroots level is very important. Only then they'll be able to appreciate the technology, understand what kind of programs can really be helpful for them, what kind of careers can they explore given the nature of backgrounds, and then try to learn those respective skills which they probably are good at. Not everyone could be a programmer, not everyone could be a good management graduate, but people should be able to know what are they really good at, what are their skills, and based on those, what kind of roles can they choose in the industry. So the first area is one, we create enormous amount of, we spend a lot of time in creating that awareness to students through a lot of information sessions. Once we do that, then we try to understand through our advisory team. There's a very strong advisory team that we have set up at Insofi, where we have trained every advisor to understand the background of the student, what kind of academic scores they have, were they good with math, were they good with sciences, were they good with business courses or commerces, different areas that they come from. So understanding their backgrounds and then really appreciating the right program for them as a recommendation is what we need to do. So the responsibility has always been to communicate people about new technologies and then try to choose the right people, identify the right qualified candidates so that they can really achieve quite a few milestones as they move ahead. So the responsibility definitely lies in identifying the best graduates. And very importantly, a lot of internal operations pertaining to business operations is something that I take care of. It could be towards growth, could be towards the growth plan and other areas of development that we look at international collaborations. While those are something that I am working on, major area that I personally feel responsible and committed is truly identifying the right candidates and helping them with the right career opportunities in this area of new age technologies. And that's probably has been my area of focus and my strength too.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So what do you think should be the Institute's top priority over the next 10 years?
Well, every world-class education institution is always known for the quality of alumni and the success stories that their alumni achieve. Stanford's, Harvard's, you name a university, the alumni of the universities have always been the definition and they always have been the outcome of the quality of education the student, the university imparts. So we've been struggling for the last 10 years and we continue to do that by imparting the world-class quality towards students in different streams. And what we really are looking at in the next 10 years, trying to identify and give very unique opportunities to people who are willing to learn digital education and digital areas who want to move into the direction. We are looking at building a very strong community of AI leadership teams, AI entrepreneurs, AI product development teams, AI engineers. We are really keen to contribute to the AI community and trying to really help the technology and industry landscape go to the next height. So our major focus has been and will always be to be the excellence, achieving excellence in the space of digital technologies is an area, and that's where we strive to also spend our time next few years. And we are very, very keen on looking at students achieving such, research, product development, and unique, contributions that they can make to the AI community. And we are very, very committed towards having these students go through that direction and try to, make their success stories and benchmarks in this area.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, when you first came to Insofi, what was your vision for the institute? Like, has it evolved over time? And how far along in implementing that vision are you?
Well, I still recollect those days, early days, where when I was one of those very first few employees of the organization, I joined as one of those executives, and when I've joined, it was only a vision that I could see, which is to build a Stanford in India, and that's the kind of vision that co-founders always had. Even today, I think the core of the heart, as academicians, both the co-founders or the other team of board of directors who are involved within Sophie, all of them believed in building a great education brand which is known for applied engineering education. So in the last 10 years, we have not been deviated at all. And in fact, we've actually got a lot more clarity as we progressed in how can InSophie really become a world-class, respectable education brand when it comes to digital technologies. And our focus has always been towards creating new programs, working with collaborations in this area. And we being independent institution, we wanted to collaborate with some of these finest universities in the world so that the Indian graduates get the opportunity to learn from one of the top schools in the world and also learn a lot more engaging content. So our vision has always been to be one of those finest schools of applied engineering aspects. And I think we've come a fairly good distance from where we were. And I think as we plan to move forward with the way we have looked at our next few years of plans, I think we are very, very happy with where we are. And I think we are very, very committed towards working with the same vision. And I think every collaboration that we get into, every new program that we launch, we are very, very careful to go back to look at how our vision has been and are these going to be in line with the vision. If yes, we'll try to move ahead. If not, we'll try to not go and pursue that model. But we have never been deviating from our vision. In fact, we try to improvise our vision to make AI and digital technologies more approachable for people who are individuals or business stakeholders. We've always been sticking to our vision very carefully.
Okay. So for the next question, what would you like people to know about your institute that they may not know?
See, a lot of times people perceive InSophie to be a place where they can learn data science in India. But what they have to understand, what they will soon realize also is AI is not just for programmers. AI is not just for computer science graduates, or AI or machine learning is not just only for technical programmers. AI and machine learning is an area where every graduate from any background at any level of hierarchy, they should be able to pick it up, because that is going to be one of the fundamental skills for every role. And we spoke to quite a few leaders, and data literacy is the key skill that they are expecting from every hire that they actually intake in their organizations across the verticals. So InSophie has been it's all been known for its excellence in imparting AI and machine learning areas, but with the new collaborations that we have with the universities and B schools across the world, InSophie has now been able to truly offer different verticals of education in data sciences. We have always been very good with engineering, and we've been very good in technical, but for us to work and design and come up with unique business programs or operational programs or different domain-specific programs, we've partnered with world-class universities, and their faculty teach what they are good at. So supply chain, marketing, finances, every area of business management courses also have something that we've explored, and we've already be able to cater to wonderful, student, backgrounds. So what people should be able to look at InSophie is a great brand in India, which is born and is the only institute in Asia which probably has the highest faculty when it comes to a single discipline, being AI and machine learning. And what we really are keen to have our students and our stakeholders know about us is that we are a world-class, we are a destination for world-class education, especially in the digital education spaces, digital age skills. And we want people to look at us because we are the only institution that offers data science courses from bachelor's to master's to doctoral degrees. And we have been very, very successful in designing programs, be it with AI in medical sciences, AI in management, AI in computer sciences, and we are known to be that player. So we are very, very, committed towards being a brand which is known for its initiatives in AI and machine learning and digital technologies. And we want our customers to perceive us for their learning goals, different levels of education, be it at bachelor's or undergraduate or doctoral leadership. I think we've been there, and we probably have one of the finest programs in the country. I think we are very, very keen to have our customers know about them and also gain the right opportunities because of the programs they can get admission into, which probably could have been fairly tough to get into such programs, be it Case West or Strathclyde. It's something that people can really do a term in India and then term there, so they have a lot they can save with their expenses. So yes, I think it's a complete new transformation that people can perceive in SOPI to be from where we were versus where we are, and that's what I think we're expecting from our outlook for different people outside.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, what do you see as in Sophie's greatest strength?
I think the first important strength or a unique proposition that I would say is our faculty. I don't see many institutes in India have such quality of faculty in-house that we were able to put together. I think over a period of 10 years, I think we were able to put in 75 faculty, of which 50-20 researchers are definitely working on the various areas of research. So faculty and their exposure towards this area, because every professor at INSOFI has a PhD from top-notch university, probably had worked for a decade and a half in the industry, and have the passion towards teaching and impart the knowledge to graduates. So they actually have joined us full-time. So our faculty has been our greatest strength, and very importantly, the nature of how we've designed our programs is our strength. We are not an institution that designs program based on technology. Rather, we've designed programs truly to create new career paths for our students. So as I mentioned earlier, creating data science or baking data science in different domains is an area that we have a strength. And I think it's only INSOPI in the current ecosystem that I see, which actually went ahead and created programs for different segments of students at different backgrounds, and we've collaborated with the finest universities in the world. So I think the second important parameter could be the design of our programs and how we actually offer that to the students. And maybe the third important strength that I probably could say as the top three is the kind of experience students get through their learning path, be it research opportunities, be it entrepreneurial opportunities, the kind of exposure people get in this newish technology, I think is next to none. I think that's the kind of strength we were able to put together.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So what are some of the biggest challenges you see, both for higher education in general and for INSOFI specifically?
Well, I wouldn't say it is a challenge, but I think it's something that we all have realized by now that there cannot be a graduate from any background who is far away from technology. I've seen universities looking at having the legal teams try to use machine learning and AI. I've seen commerce graduate trying to use that for their analytical work. I've seen people from medical sciences, anatomy, to use technology as a part of their learning curve. So very soon, I think technology as an area of focus or an area of expertise is going to be one of the core parts across all the areas of discipline. And it is the ability of the institutions to be able to combine these technology pieces to the domain that they go through, be it medical sciences, be it biological sciences, be it agricultural sciences, or be it management, any area that you actually look at as the field of study. Technology plays a crucial role in merging together and learning that combination of a domain and technology is very to move up into different roles in the industry. I think that, I believe, is the most important challenge with a lot of institutions because of strength in both the areas. They need to find the collaboration with an institution which probably is good at that, and that's what we try to do when we probably are not very known, or at least we are not great, or we're not knowledgeable with the kind of faculty and all we have when it comes to, let's say, management, or maybe let's say engineering departments, or civil or mechanical. We went ahead, partnered with a university like case was the US or UK, where they teach they teach their core strengths, and we stick to our strengths of data science. So this challenge for institutions is trying to build curriculum which has the ability, and I believe is an important aspect that every graduate is expected to have very soon. And I'm not sure how many education students in the higher education space are actually probably the kind of faculty, teams, software, infrastructure support in that areas. I think that will be an area for a lot of education players. But at Insofi, I think we had challenges initially, but the kind of collaborations we got into with global world-class institution, I think we were able to fairly well. So I think that's an area I think a lot of people have to be working on very soon.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, any suggestions you would like to give to the current youth and the aspiring students?
Oh yeah. Well, we all have a lot of suggestions to give, and we all have a lot of suggestions to take. But one thing that I can give from my personal experience of looking at these things closely, a first-hand experience, I should say, you cannot escape from data. That's an area that I've been, working fairly on, and you obviously cannot escape from data. And you just have to learn the art of mining the information to be able to find intelligence. And a lot of people think that this is not my cup of tea, this is something I'm not comfortable with, I don't think I like this. There have always been ways, but with the kind of digital disruption happening, with the kind of data that is saved, that is stored, with the kind of mobile that we all are using, the kind of data we generate, the kind of security layers that are getting breached every day, I think people, especially the young aspiring students, have a huge role to play in making excellent contributions. There are so many things that they can achieve today with the kind of application support that they have, with the kind of opportunities of free sources to learn online. There is so much that one can learn in that area. The only suggestion I can give you is identify that area that you are really happy and excited about. Just identify that area and achieve excellence in that area. I think you can just go ahead. The kind of opportunities are global, which probably was not the case a few decades earlier. But I think the current generation and the young aspiring graduates, they have significant amount of opportunities across the world. It's just about pursuing what you probably are good at, and you better identify what you're good at very soon and pursue in that area. I think you all can achieve a great milestones in that aspect.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And for the last question, so what are some plans that you're currently or will be designing for the Institute, like international affairs?
Well, I think we are, as I mentioned earlier, we are the only institution which is baking data science in every domain. So it was an exciting thought. I was talking to our co-founder and president, Dr. Dakshamurthy, the other day. The ability to have humans replaced by AI is something that's happening at a rapid pace in the industry outside. And to be able to keep up with the pace, humans have to be able to learn technology so they can actually make a lot of creative, innovative thought that they can achieve. So we are going ahead in trying to collaborate with different universities and create unique programs in different domains. You actually would need a commerce graduate or a BCom graduate to learn data science. You probably would need a civil and construction management resource to learn AI and machine learning. You probably would need an automobile or mechanical engineer to learn AI. So trying to make AI accessible to everyone at different levels of innovation is an area that we are committed to. And I think we have quite a few exciting, collaborative programs that are coming up. And I think we are working towards our best attempts to make sure that we make, a huge contribution towards this community of AI, machine learning, areas, or probably data science, I would say, and really help, students from various backgrounds access technology and probably use a lot of intelligence to be able to work and create unique, platforms or prototypes of products, and can build solutions that can solve problems for humanity and better society that we are living in. So I think making AI accessible to everyone and trying to really make the best use of technology to different market needs, I believe will be an area we will be contributing closely with, and that's an area we are focused on too.
Okay. Thank you so much for this interview. I feel there is a lot to learn for students who are, looking to get into AI. I'm sure like Sophie is the place to go. Any last words you would like to say?
No, I'm just thankful to the entire team who've given this opportunity, and thanks to you so much, Sahil, for the coordination that you've gone through this. Truly appreciate this, and I think it's a nice experience to be able to talk to someone and who wants to understand more about what we're doing. So thanks for this opportunity, and that's it from my side. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir.